All right, one more Q&A video. I have 3 questions that kind of came in late. One is about Rake, so I'm gonna save the best for last, I guess. One is from Casey from Texas, who asked when I'm gonna see the, when I'm gonna try the card rooms in Texas. You know, I never plan on going there for an extended stay, like 6 weeks over the summer instead of the World Series, but I'll probably go eventually. It's just that I'm not really near Texas. Like, I gave California a try last year in May because EDC weekend, it was close. I went there for 3 days. This year, same weekend in Arizona. It was nearby. On the way out this year from New York to Vegas, stopped in AC, stopped in Council Bluffs. They weren't just one night. It was AC for 3 nights and Council Bluffs, I think, for 2. They're on the route I take from like New York to Vegas, and then there are places near Vegas. Texas just isn't anywhere near where I drive or where I go. So it'll probably be when I go to the Southeast. The only 5 states in the lower 48 I have not been to are all in the Southeast. So one day I plan on going there, doing something in all 5 states, including poker in northern Florida. And whether it's back to New York at the end of the year, I mean, that would mean leaving Vegas, taking the southern route, going through Texas on the way there, or if it's coming back from New York at the start of the year, go south from New York, go to the Southeast, and then go the southern route west, and I would be going through Texas to get to Vegas. So whenever I make that trip to the Southeast, I plan on stopping in Texas for probably just a night or 2, but no concrete plans to do it, but that's what would make me be in that part of the country. Second question is from Rob G, who asked, why would I ever want to retire from poker? There are things I want to do that don't involve making money at all, or don't involve making large amounts of money, and I can't do them because I need to have an income now. So yeah, poker is one of them. Poker is one of the best. I've been doing it for a long time. It's consistent, so I need to now. It's not that I would probably ever get to a point where I would like prohibit it from my life, but definitely there will be a time where I don't like go for like 60-70 hour weeks and go for 2,000 hour plus years and things like that. So yeah, I actually question, my question would be the opposite. Why would anyone want to play poker from today until the end of time? And third question is about Rake. Third question is from New Jersey, is what Herbs and Rye calls him. The guy, when I went back last year from Vegas to New York, and I stopped in my friend from high school's driveway. He lives in New Jersey now. He asked, like, I don't know if I'm like worried, or if you know, the competition increases, the level of the competition gets better, the rate increases, inflation increases, like how long can you keep playing 1-2 for a living? Okay, a few things. For one, inflation is, I don't buy things that are affected by inflation a lot. Gas, since I've cared about the price of gas when I got my learner's permit, gas has gone up and down. It fluctuates. It doesn't just go up. It's cheaper now than it was when I got my learner's permit. Other things stay the same. I'm seeing chicken for the same price I see it as the first time I bought it in 2012. Sometimes I see it for less than that. So some things stay the same, some things go down, some things fluctuate. It's just not true that like everything I buy, just the price only goes up. Just false. The competition, yeah, I guess the competition increases. The thing about 1-2 is that the player pool is very large. Like if you're playing a very specific game, if you're playing like 40-80 limit, a guy was actually on his phone on Bravo earlier in the night, or it might have been yesterday, and said there's a 20-40 limit game going at Bellagio, a 40-80 limit game going at Bellagio. There can't be that many people who play 40-80 limit. Like, if either the worst player just drops out and decides he never wants to play anymore, or like the bad players, like the 5 worst players in that player pool, all get better, like that's bad because the amount of people in the player pool is so small. The amount of people who play 1-2, 1-3, same thing, for purposes of this discussion at least. The amount of people who play that are like, it's so big that, okay, if like 100 people in the country who played 1-2 all of a sudden stop, they never play, they never go to the casino, they're never in the casino losing money at 1-2 anymore, it's not that big of a hit on the player pool because there are still so many people. If like the worst tier of people get a little better, same thing. Like there are some really specific games, like I've heard of like Barry Greenstein. I remember him saying a game about a high limit, an instance of this in High Limit Stud. I think it was I can't think of the guy's name now, the guy who started the Hustler. Like he started playing, he was the whale in the games, but playing against that competition got him to like a really high level. He was a very good player eventually, and then when he opened the Hustler, like he could beat all the people who came to play that high limit stud game at the Hustler. Like it's such a small player pool, one difference like that, the worst player becoming good, could like drastically change things. The amount of people who play 1-2 in the country is a huge number. So if like a few get a little better or a few of the worst players stop playing, it's not that noticeable. It doesn't change things that much. As far as rake goes, for one, rake also doesn't just increase. I was watching an old Trooper video. I don't remember what casino it was, but there was a rake that was $5. Don't remember the room, I wish I did, but whenever Trooper was talking about it, whether when he lived here in 08 or in 2012 or 13, he came out for the summer or something, it was a room that he said the rake was $5. It was a room that I know for a fact when I moved here in 2015, the rake maximum was $4. So the rake in that room went down. Since it has gone back to $5, but it went down at one point. Also, it's not like rake increases every year. People talk like, you know, rake is like affected by like the consumer price index or something. Like I moved here in 2015, that was over 8 years ago, and like Bellagio's rake was 4 and now it's 5. A guy parked right next to me for some reason with like 500 open spots in here. He parked right next to me, so I'm just gonna head back in. But anyway, like I was saying, I moved here in 2015, Bellagio and Aria and Venetian, you know, the rake was $4 and now it's 2023 and the rake is $5. That's $1 increase on the max rake in 8 years. And as far as I know, there's no increase coming anytime soon. Yeah, if it increased $1 every year, that would be insane and I wouldn't be playing poker anymore. $1 increase every 8 years isn't like that drastic of a thing. When people talk about it, they talk like, oh, the food you buy, instead of spending like $100 a week, you'll be spending $180 a week next year. The rake right now is $5. In 3 years, it'll be $8 max. The competition, you know, the worst players in your player pool, they're gonna be Phil Ivey next year. Like, some of these things are just false, and some of these things are just much lower effects than people will have you believe. So if in another 8 years, you know, the rake increases at Bellagio and Aria to $6 max, all right, like people won't like it, but for one, it might make the games better, who knows. And also it's not a common thing, and it's not a high severity thing either. So these are not concerns of mine. People blow them way out of proportion if they're true, and some of these things that people try to fearmonger with are just false.